Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan. Since the Aladdin remake is coming out soon, I decided to look at the original Disney classic. In the original 1992 film, Robin Williams provides the voice of the Genie. People laughed at the Genie so much at test screenings, the animators had to add in pauses so the audience wouldn't miss jokes. This means that Aladdin was made longer because Robin Williams was too funny. And that is the first fact about Aladdin. Let's dive in. The man who introduces the film is the Genie. Not only does he have the same beard and clothes as the Genie, but they are both voiced by Robin Williams. I know the character appears in the sequel, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, but I just pretend that film doesn't exist. This is one of the first animated films where the advertisements emphasized one of the actors as a selling point. The directors turned down the opportunity to make Beauty and the Beast to make this movie. Robin Williams improvised 16 hours of material for his role as the Genie. He improvised so many lines that the film got turned down for a Best Adapted Screenplay Oscar nomination. Jonathan Freeman voices Jafar. The role nearly went to Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. For the record, Patrick Stewart was asked to play the villain in almost 10 Disney movies, but he had to nearly always cancel because he was doing Star Trek. And when he was finally free, what Disney film did he do? Chicken Little, which is often considered to be the worst Disney animated film ever.
Ducky Lucky, Fuzzy Wuzzy, Porcupine.
Jonathan Freeman went on to play Jafar on Broadway. Jafar's sidekick is Iago the Parrot. Ironically, Jonathan Freeman was terrified of parrots for years. The Genie makes over 70 transformations, including Jack Nicholson, Rodney Dangerfield, Groucho Marx, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Robert De Niro. He also did impressions of George Bush and John Wayne, but these were cut. Since the Genie makes many references to modern times, some Disney fans theorize that the story doesn't take place in the past, but in the far distant future. Originally, the lamp in the Cave of Wonders was going to be a fake. When Aladdin rejected it, the real lamp would appear. Why would he reject it? Most of the characters are drawn with curves. The only main character that isn't drawn with curves is Jafar. Jafar is drawn with straight lines and angles to show that he's the villain, since his design does not fit with the rest of the characters. Although it is not stated where Agrabah is situated, the inhabitants are Muslim, since many of them refer to Allah. Disney Studios were getting tired of generic princesses instantly falling in love with princes, and want this film to show how and why Jasmine fell in love with Aladdin. The Beast from Beauty and the Beast can be seen on the Sultan's Tower of Animals. Robin Williams' goodbye is very similar to his farewell in the film Good Morning Vietnam.
I'm history. No, I'm mythology.
Goodbye, Vietnam! That's right, I'm history, I'm out of here.
When the Genie sings Friend Like Me, he mentions Scheherazade had her 1,000 tales. Scheherazade was the storyteller of 1001 Arabian Nights. One of these stories was Aladdin. Aladdin was modelled off Tom Cruise. Jafar's voice is based off Boris Karloff and Vincent Price. Aladdin's movements and pants are based on MC Hammer for the music video, You Can't Touch This. When Aladdin wants Raja to back off, he mutters, "Take off, scat, go." Many people believe he says, "Take off your clothes."
Come on, good tears. Take off the clothes.
Originally, Jafar and Iago's personalities were reversed. Jafar was prone to tantrums while Iago stayed calm. When the animators didn't know how to jump from one shot to another, they would show Iago getting hurt. Their motto was, when in doubt, hurt the bird. Despite the fact this is one of the best animated films ever, and it was one of the first animated films to have 3D effects with the Cave of Wonders and the lava, it only cost a measly $28 million. But it went on to make a whopping $500 million at the box office, which was a staggering amount for an animated movie, especially during the 1990s. Iago was meant to be British. In case you can't tell, this is not her British accent.
We're never gonna get a hold of that stupid lamp.
This is the first animated Disney film where the main characters were not trained singers. Because of this, the Disney executives were actually really worried the film would fail. Aladdin is one of the most influential animated movies ever. Not just because it was amazing, but it made the executive realize that celebrity actors could boost the film's success. This is the main reason why so many celebrities voice characters in future Disney films. Aladdin rolls an apple down his shoulder and flicks it with his elbow. The animators wanted to watch somebody do this so they could animate it properly. None of the film crew were able to do it. I don't have an apple in my house because I'm actually allergic to them. So if somebody can show me if that's actually possible, let me know. The Genie is Jewish, which makes less sense the more you think about it. Jasmine is the only Disney princess to kiss a villain. Despite what many people believe, Anna does not kiss Hans in Frozen. Jasmine is only 15 years old. Danny DeVito was considered for Iago. The role went to Gilbert Gottfried. I would have loved to see Danny DeVito as Iago. In an early script, there were two genies. One genie was in a lamp and the other was in a ring. In this version, the genie could grant infinite wishes. The original script was written by Linda Wolverton. Wolverton wrote the screenplay for Beauty and the Beast. Abu means elephant. The carpet is based on Charlie Chaplin. You see, the carpet is difficult to animate since it doesn't display emotion with speech or facial expressions. To get around this, the animators had to study Chaplin to learn how a character displays emotion without talking. The director said that Jafar is based on the former First Lady, Nancy Reagan. In the original story, Aladdin is Chinese. In the original script, Aladdin recognized Jasmine as a princess as soon as he saw her. This was changed as the writers thought it'd be better if Aladdin fell in love with her, not knowing of her heritage. When the genie frees Aladdin from the Cave of Wonders, Genie calls him Mr. Doubting Mustafa. This is a reference to the idiom Doubting Thomas. Also, Mufasa is the name of Aladdin's father in the original story. The genie was nearly played by John Candy. 8 songs were removed from the final cut. During the genie song, he mentions Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. The second sequel, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, revolves around this legend, where the leader of the 40 Thieves is revealed to be Aladdin's father. Jafar's face is based on Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. Jasmine's character is the opposite of how she was depicted in the original script. In the first draft, Jasmine was a spoiled brat who wanted to find the richest prince possible, and that's why she fell in love with Aladdin. A liar and a thief. During the whole New World scene, Aladdin and Jasmine fly over Japan and Greece. The designs of the building were used again for the films Hercules and Mulan. Also, let me know if you want to do a video about either of those movies. Robin Williams had a massive falling out with Disney, and he refused to return for the sequel, The Return of Jafar. Disney eventually apologized to Robin Williams, and he agreed to return as the genie in the sequel, Aladdin and the King of Thieves. In Aladdin and the King of Thieves, the genie makes Jasmine wear Cinderella's dress in one scene. Robin Williams recorded his lines in between filming Hook and Toys. Douglas Seal voices the Sultan. He improvised the line, "But you're so old." Scott Wenger voices Aladdin. He plays Steve in Full House and Fuller House. Frank Welker voices Abu, Raja, and the Cave of Wonders. He's best known for voicing Megatron in Transformers. A crew member traveled to Iran to get an idea of what Middle Eastern towns looked like. When Robin Williams was cast, Disney offered him $8 million. He was so happy to be a part of a Disney film that he only asked for $75,000. The artist studied capuchin monkeys to accurately animate Abu. In the original script, the story revolved around Aladdin's relationship with his mother. She desperately wanted Aladdin to stop living as a thief, but he kept getting encouraged by his friends. The opening scene with the merchant is unscripted. The scene was prepared by asking Williams to stand behind a table. The table had many objects on it, but they were covered with a bedsheet. Williams had no idea what was underneath the bedsheet, so when he took it off, he had to improvise with what he saw as his character. 90% of his lines were considered inappropriate for children. When Jafar became the Sultan in the original script, everyone's memories were altered so they believed that Jafar had always been the Sultan. This wish didn't affect Aladdin and Abu because Carpet wrapped himself around them. When the directors showed a rough cut to the producer, he told him to scrap everything and start again. The directors create a completely different story within 8 days. Jasmine is modeled after the actress Jennifer Connelly. She was only 22 when the film was released. Every time Aladdin lies while he is dressed as a prince, the plume on his hat falls over and covers his face. The production designer gave the film a simple color scheme. Blue represents good, red represents evil, yellow represents neutral. Jafar wears a red and black robe, Iago has red feathers, Jasmine wears a blue dress, but Jafar makes her wear a red dress at the end. The interior of the Cave of Wonders is blue, but turns red when Abu touches the ruby, which is also red. Jasmine's shape is based on a vase. The Sultan's shape is based on an egg. The genie's shape is based on a teardrop. Female dialogue only makes up 10% of the dialogue in this movie, which may be less than any other animated Disney movie. Ironically, 30% of the dialogue in The Little Mermaid is spoken by female characters, even though the main female character is mute for most of the movie. The film spawned a TV show in 1994. Since Rob Williams didn't want anything to do with it, Dan Castellaneta voices the genie. Castellaneta is most famous for voicing Homer Simpson in The Simpsons.
Show a little respect.
Prince Wazoo can't help it that he's snooty and cowardly and obnoxious and cruel and... go ahead and razz him.
Mozanrath the Warlock is a recurring villain in the animated series of Aladdin. He was supposed to be the villain in Aladdin and the King of Thieves. If he appeared in the film, it would have been revealed that he was Aladdin's long-lost brother. It's quite interesting because me and my brothers always theorized that Mozanrath was Jafar's long-lost son. Raja the Tiger is barely in the Aladdin TV show because his stripes were incredibly difficult to animate. And finally, when the genie is freed, his armbands fall off. Because of this, many viewers assume the bands represent imprisonment. However, this was actually a last-minute idea. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please let me know if there's any other Disney movies you want me to do a video about, and I'll upload it as soon as possible. To learn more facts, check out my books. They're available on Amazon, on paperback, and Kindle. Thanks for watching. See you again.